Maria has always been a force of nature. At 30, she was a young mother of 2 children, Lucas and Anna, ages 6 and 4, respectively. Her life was a vibrant dance between the responsibilities of mother, wife, and active citizen. Each morning began with laughter and a gentle rush as she prepared breakfast and helped Lucas and Anna get ready for school. She lived in a small 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood where the children could play outside and make friends. The front yard, with its colorful flowers and small play area, was a special place for family time. Afternoons were filled with activities in the local park, where Maria and her family spent hours enjoying picnics, running around, and playing outdoor games. Maria also maintained a careful balance between her responsibilities at home and her work as a freelance graphic designer. She was passionate about her career, often immersing herself in creative projects that gave her a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. Her artistic skills were widely appreciated by her clients, and the positive feedback she received motivated her even more. In the evenings, after the children went to bed, Mary and her husband, John, enjoyed spending time together. They loved cooking special meals, watching movies, and planning their next family vacation. These evenings were a constant reminder of how rich and fulfilling their life was. Maria was actively involved in community activities, helping out at local events and participating in mother support groups. She was known for her warm smile and willingness to help others. Her life seemed full of purpose and joy, and she was grateful for every moment. However, as is often the case, life has a way of surprising and changing everything in an instant. Maria's perfect routine was about to be disrupted by an unexpected event that would challenge her strength and resilience in ways she never imagined. It was a spring afternoon, and Maria was driving home from a physical therapy session for her daughter Anna, who was recovering from a minor surgery. The sun was shining, and the gentle breeze promised a pleasant end to the day. The routine, which was normally peaceful, was unfolding like any other day, until everything changed in the blink of an eye. Maria was stopped at a red light when a seemingly out-of-control car collided with hers. The impact was devastating. The sound of the crash, the crack of breaking glass, and the crash of crumpled metal were deafening. Within seconds, Maria's car was immobilized, and she was unconscious, her face pale and her eyes closed. When Maria woke up, she was in a hospital emergency room, surrounded by doctors and nurses. The pain was intense, and the feeling of being immobilized was overwhelming. The medical team explained that, due to the impact, she had suffered a severe spinal cord injury and was paralyzed from the waist down. The news was a devastating blow not only to Maria, but to her entire family. As Maria underwent a series of tests and procedures, her family was in shock. Her husband, João, was by her side the entire time, his face etched with worry and sadness. Lucas and Anna, still too young to understand the gravity of the situation, were left with friends and family who tried to comfort them while their parents dealt with the crisis. The pain and fear were palpable, and the hospital environment felt like a whirlwind of emotions and uncertainty. Maria tried to process what had happened, her mind racing, thinking about the challenges that lay ahead and how this would affect her family's lives. The thought of not being able to walk again was almost impossible to accept, and the tears fell uncontrollably as she tried to grasp the magnitude of her new reality. The hours dragged on, and the definitive diagnosis was a harsh reality to face. Maria was facing an uncertain future, with a long road of rehabilitation and adaptation ahead of her. The accident had left deep scars, both physical and emotional, and the journey to find a new way of living was just beginning. The first few days after the accident were marked by a mixture of acute pain and a profound sense of desolation. Maria, now in intensive care, was beginning to glimpse the complexity of what was to come. The spinal cord injury was severe, and the prospect of recovery was uncertain. Every movement was a struggle, and medical procedures became part of her new routine. Rehabilitation began soon after initial stabilization. Maria was transferred to a specialized clinic, where a multidisciplinary team of physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and psychologists were ready to help. The first few days were a blur of tests, physiotherapy sessions, and attempts to cope with the pain. The feeling of helplessness was overwhelming, and the process of adaptation seemed almost unbearable. Each physical therapy session was a challenge. Maria had to get used to new equipment and techniques that helped maintain core strength and improve circulation. The first attempts to move her legs, even against resistance, were exhausting and often frustrating. The physical pain was intense, but the emotional pain of accepting that her life had changed forever was even more difficult to bear. Maria also faced simple, everyday challenges, such as transferring from a bed to a wheelchair and learning to perform daily activities with her new condition. Being completely dependent on others for basic tasks was a major blow to her self-esteem and independence. The support from John, Luke, and Anna was invaluable. John spent hours at Maria's bedside, encouraging her and actively participating in rehabilitation sessions to better understand how he could help at home. Luke and Anna, still too young to fully understand, would bring drawings and cards to cheer their mother up. Their visits were a constant reminder of what Maria was struggling to recover. Over time, Maria began to see small improvements. She was able to move around a little more during her physical therapy sessions and was learning to use adaptive devices to help her with her daily life. However, these improvements were accompanied by moments of despair and doubt. Maria constantly questioned whether she would ever be able to achieve a life that she could consider normal again. Rehabilitation was not just a physical process. It was also an emotional and mental journey. Maria had to learn to deal with feelings of anger and sadness and find ways to cope with frustration and fear about the future. She began engaging in counseling sessions, where she discussed her fears and hopes with a therapist who helped guide her through the emotional complexities of her recovery. As Maria navigated the day-to-day grind of rehab, she began to realize that despite the hardships, there was a glimmer of hope. Small successes and the constant presence of her family helped her maintain her faith and determination. Rehab was a constant battle, but Maria was beginning to find a new inner strength that helped her move forward. As Maria progressed through her rehabilitation, the physical challenges began to mix with an increasingly intense emotional battle. The physical pain was accompanied by a tumult of emotions, and adapting to the new reality proved as difficult as her daily exercise. The moments of solitude were the hardest. Alone in her bed or in a wheelchair, Maria was faced with overwhelming thoughts about her loss of independence. The thought of never walking again, of never playing with her children the way she used to, was a constant burden. Some nights, sadness would overwhelm her, and the tears would flow uncontrollably as she struggled to find meaning in her new life. Visits from family and friends offered some relief, but they also brought mixed feelings. John was constantly by her side, offering support and affection. However, even his love and devotion could not completely fill the void Maria felt. Lucas and Anna, although loving and understanding, were constant reminders of the life Maria was struggling to regain. Maria also experienced a growing sense of guilt. She felt like a burden to her family, believing that her condition was burdening everyone around her. The need for dependency was a severe blow to her self-image, and the frustration of not being able to do things for herself was often overwhelming. Psychological therapy became an essential anchor. In her sessions, Maria began to explore the complex emotions that were emerging. She discussed her insecurities, fears, and feelings of being indebted to her family. The therapist helped Maria understand that her feelings were valid and that the process of adjustment required time and patience. Learning to accept help from others and finding new purpose in her life were recurring themes in their conversations. Maria's family tried to alleviate her suffering in every possible way. João organized family gatherings where everyone could share their emotions and strengthen the bond that united them. Lucas and Anna spent more time with their mother, doing activities adapted so that she could participate. These interactions helped Maria feel connected and remember what was at stake. Yet even with all the support, the sense of loss was palpable. Maria's life had changed irreversibly, and she had to learn to adapt to this new reality. The emotional roller coaster continued, with moments of hope followed by periods of despair. The emotional impact of her condition was as profound as the physical impact, and Maria was beginning to understand that recovery required a complete integration of body and mind. Despite the ups and downs, Maria began to find small ways to lift herself up. She engaged in activities that she could do with her new limitations, such as painting and writing. These activities provided an outlet and helped her channel her emotions in productive ways. Maria was beginning to see that even in the midst of suffering, there was room for healing and personal growth. Maria's environment was shrouded in a routine of rehabilitation and constant challenges. In the midst of this routine, she began to feel a growing desire to find a new purpose. The pain and suffering, although still present, were beginning to transform into a source of motivation. The daily struggle to adapt to the new reality was generating an unexpected inner strength. The turning point came during a therapy session when Maria heard a talk from a former Paralympic athlete who had faced similar challenges. The talk focused on the importance of redefining one's life after an injury and finding new pathways to fulfillment and impact. The speaker's words resonated deeply with Maria, sparking a desire to turn her own pain into something positive. That night, Maria couldn't sleep. Her brain was racing, thinking about the lecture and how she could apply these principles to her life. She decided she needed to do something that would not only help her find a new purpose, but that could also inspire others who were facing similar situations. It was then that Maria had the idea of becoming a motivational speaker. She imagined the possibility of sharing her journey and the lessons she had learned with others, helping them overcome their own adversities. Although the idea seemed bold and challenging, Maria felt a spark of hope that had been missing for so long. The next day brought a new energy for Maria. She began working on a plan to become a motivational speaker. First, she began writing about her journey, her challenges, and her discoveries. She wrote letters to herself, creating a personal narrative that could be used in future speaking engagements. The writing process was therapeutic and gave her a new sense of control over her story. John and her closest friends were the first to hear about Maria's new goal. At first, there were concerns about how she would handle public speaking and the demands of this new endeavor. However, seeing the determination in her eyes, everyone offered their full support. John helped Maria find public speaking courses and training, and friends began offering feedback on her initial speeches. The first few talks were challenging. Maria had to get used to the idea of speaking publicly about her life and her most intimate feelings. The audience's reactions were mixed. Some were deeply moved, while others were skeptical. However, Maria kept persevering, honing her skills and adjusting her approach based on the feedback she received. Every small victory, from a well-received talk to a thank you message from a listener, was a reminder that she was on the right track. Maria's transformation was beginning to take shape, and the momentum she felt was fueling her to keep moving forward. The idea of sharing her experience and inspiring others was giving her recovery journey meaning. The turning point was not just an external change, but an internal transformation. Maria was beginning to see the possibility of a new life, one that, while different, could be full of purpose and impact. This new vision was what sustained her, and Maria was determined to move forward, one step at a time, on her new path. As Maria delved deeper into her new career as a motivational speaker, her life began to transform in unexpected ways. Every talk she gave, every story she shared, was an opportunity not only to inspire others, but to strengthen her own spirit. Maria began receiving invitations to speak at community events, schools, and businesses. Her message of resilience resonated with many people, and the feedback she received was overwhelmingly positive. The stories of how she had faced her challenges, adapted her life, and found new purpose resonated deeply with those who listened. During a talk at a local school, Maria met a group of students who were struggling personally. Her interaction with these young people was especially impactful. She spoke about the importance of facing challenges with courage and perseverance, and how finding purpose can help overcome even the most difficult situations. At the end of the talk, many students approached her to thank her and share their own stories. The emotional connection Maria made with these young people was a pivotal moment in her journey, showing her the true power of her message. With each new presentation, Maria felt more comfortable and confident. She adjusted her delivery to better connect with her audience and incorporated the lessons she had learned during her recovery. She began exploring ways to make her talks even more impactful, using visuals and personal stories that engaged her audience on a deeper level. In addition to speaking engagements, Maria also began writing a book about her journey. The book was not only an account of her experience, but also a guide for those facing similar challenges. She included practical tips on how to find inner strength, deal with grief, and find new purpose in life. Writing the book was a therapeutic process, allowing her to revisit and reflect on her journey in a way that could help others. The success of her talks and book brought her a new sense of accomplishment and purpose. Maria began to see herself not just as a survivor, but as a source of inspiration and hope for many. Her work was helping others see that despite adversity, it was possible to find a new path and build a meaningful life. However, Maria's journey also brought unexpected challenges. Maintaining a balance between her personal and professional life and dealing with the emotional toll of her work was a constant challenge. There were times when the physical and emotional pain would return, and Maria had to find ways to care for herself while continuing to inspire others. Over time, Maria began to realize that her journey of resilience was making a lasting impact. Her children, Lucas and Anna, saw her determination and resilience, and it inspired them to face their own challenges with courage. João was incredibly proud of his wife and supported her every step of the way. Maria's family, now closer than ever, celebrated her achievements and shared in the pride of seeing Maria turn her pain into something so positive and meaningful. Maria's journey as a motivational speaker was just beginning, but she had already accomplished so much. Her ability to turn personal challenges into a source of inspiration for others was a testament to the power of resilience and determination. Maria was beginning to understand that even in the face of adversity, she had the power to create a new reality for herself and those around her. Over time, Maria's career as a motivational speaker continued to flourish. Her speaking engagements became highly anticipated events, and she became a respected voice in the motivation and resilience community. Her book was selling well, and her message was reaching a wider audience. Maria's life seemed to have found a new balance, with the strength and determination she had cultivated throughout her journey. Maria also began to get involved in philanthropic endeavors, founding an organization dedicated to supporting people with similar injuries to hers. The organization provided resources, emotional support, and rehabilitation opportunities to individuals who were going through similar challenges. Maria dedicated her time to this work, believing that her experience and skills could make a real difference in people's lives. Maria's impact extended beyond her speaking engagements and the work of the organization. She began receiving invitations to appear on television shows and radio interviews, where she shared her story and promoted her mission to inspire and help others. In each appearance, Maria continued to emphasize the importance of finding purpose and maintaining hope, even in the most difficult circumstances. The organization Maria founded grew to become a vital resource for many people. She began to see the fruits of her labor when the people she helped shared their own stories of overcoming challenges and success. Maria found a deep sense of satisfaction in knowing that she was contributing to the well-being of so many others, and this motivated her to continue her mission with even greater commitment. Despite all of her success and recognition, Maria never lost sight of what was most important to her: her family. João, Lucas, and Anna were by her side every step of the way. They attended the organization's events, helped promote the cause, and were Maria's biggest supporters. Family continued to be her anchor, and Maria was grateful to have such a strong support system. Maria's legacy began to take hold not only because of the direct impact she had on people's lives, but also because of the way she inspired others to follow their own paths of self-improvement. Her speeches and work with the organization served as a reminder that even in the most challenging circumstances, it is possible to find inner strength and make a positive impact on the world. As Maria looked back on the journey that had taken her from her accident to her success as a speaker and founder of a philanthropic organization, she felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The pain and challenges she had faced had shaped her life in ways she could never have anticipated. The transformation she had experienced had not only helped her find a new purpose for herself, but it had also left a lasting legacy that would continue to impact and inspire others for years to come. Maria's story was a testament to the power of resilience, determination, and the human capacity to transform adversity into opportunities for growth and impact. The legacy she had built was proof that even in the face of the greatest difficulties, it is possible to find a new way of living and create a positive impact on the world. With the legacy Maria had created, the future looked bright and full of possibilities. Her organization was growing, and its impact on people's lives continued to expand. However, Maria knew that the path ahead would also bring new challenges and opportunities for growth. Maria was gearing up for a new project, a mentoring program for individuals facing similar challenges to those she had faced. The program would be an extension of her organization, offering personalized guidance and ongoing support to those seeking to transform their own adversities into strength and purpose. The goal was to create a support network where people could find solace and inspiration from someone who understood their struggles. As Maria planned her mentoring program, she also reflected on how her own journey had evolved. She recognized that the path to overcoming challenges had no definitive end, but was an ongoing process of growth and adaptation. The idea of mentoring others helped her keep her own journey in perspective and stay motivated to keep moving forward. Maria was eager to begin this new phase. Interviews and mentoring sessions were soon to begin, and she was prepared to give it her all. Her life's experience, combined with the skills she had developed over the years, equipped her to provide meaningful and impactful guidance. The mentoring program was not just an extension of her work, but a new way for her to connect directly with those who needed support. Additionally, Maria continued to be an active advocate for her cause. She participated in community and national events, speaking out about the importance of inclusion and accessibility for people with disabilities. Her voice was becoming increasingly influential in the community, and she used that influence to promote positive change and fight for a more inclusive and welcoming world. Maria's life was also marked by moments of celebration and gratitude. The accomplishments of her organization, the positive impact she was making, and the continued support of her family were sources of joy and pride. Maria knew that despite the challenges she still faced, she was living a full and meaningful life. In her moments of reflection, Maria looked back on her journey from the accident to the present. She looked back with a deep sense of accomplishment and an appreciation for the strength and resilience she had developed. She understood that her life was not just about what she had overcome, but about how she had transformed her experiences into something positive for others. The future was uncertain, but Maria was ready to face it with the same courage and determination that had guided her to this point. She knew that each new challenge was an opportunity to grow and make a difference. With a clear vision of her purpose and an unwavering passion for helping others, Maria was ready to continue her journey, inspiring and impacting lives along the way. Maria's legacy was not just a story of resilience, but a celebration of the human power to transform adversity into opportunities for growth and impact. Her future was full of possibilities, and she was ready to embrace each one with an open heart and unwavering determination.